I never thought I'd be the kind of daughter who'd weaponize debt against her own parents. But then again, I never thought they'd steal my life savings either. My name is Sierra, and 6 months ago, I made the stupidest financial decision of my life. I loaned my parents $50,000, my entire savings from 5 years of overtime and living like a college student well into my 30s. The money that was supposed to be my down payment on a house. Honey, it's just temporary, Mom had said, perched on my IKEA couch with that practiced smile of hers. The contractor needs a deposit for the home extension, and our investments are tied up right now. Dad nodded along, adding, "We'll have it back to you in 3 months, tops. You know we're good for it." I did know they were good for it. They reminded me constantly of their success, their perfect credit score, their country club membership. The same country club where my younger brother Bryce hosted his engagement party last year. The one I couldn't afford to attend because I was saving every penny for my future home. "What's family for?" I heard myself say, even as my stomach twisted into knots. The next day, I transferred the money. Mom hugged me tight, whispering, "You've always been such a good daughter." Looking back, I should have recognized the manipulation in those words. 2 weeks later, I drove past their house. No construction vehicles, no permits in the window, no sign of any upcoming extension. "Oh, we're still finalizing the plans," Mom said when I called. "But we did start on the kitchen renovation. Wait until you see the new marble countertops." I gripped my phone tighter. "Kitchen renovation? I thought—" "Sierra, don't start!" She cut me off. "You're not going to be difficult about this, are you? After everything we've done for you." That familiar guilt washed over me. The same guilt I felt when they paid for Bryce's college but told me to take out loans. When they bought him a car for graduation while I took the bus. When they... No, Mom. Not being difficult. 3 months came and went. The temporary loan morphed into new furniture, a spa bathroom, and the final straw, a brand new ATV parked in their driveway. "Sweet ride, sis!" Bryce revved the engine, spraying gravel across the lawn. "Mom and Dad got me an early birthday present." I stood there, mud speckling my work pants, as the reality hit me. My down payment, my future, my stupid, blind trust. "Isn't it gorgeous?" Mom appeared beside me, beaming at Bryce. "He's been wanting one forever. You used my money for this." The words came out barely above a whisper. She turned to me, eyes narrowing. "Excuse me?" "The 50,000. My 50,000. You spent it on... toys?" "Lower your voice," she hissed. "We don't discuss money in the driveway like common people. Besides, it's all relative. The money's in the family, isn't it?" "When are you paying me back?" Mom's face did that thing. That subtle hardening I'd seen 1,000 times before. "You know, Sierra, this attitude of yours is exactly why we've always had to be careful with you. Unlike your brother, you've never quite understood the meaning of family loyalty." I watched Bryce pop a wheelie on his new ATV. My down payment turned into his plaything, and something inside me shifted. A lifetime of being the difficult daughter, the one who asked too many questions, wanted too many explanations, crystallized into perfect clarity. "You're right, Mom," I said quietly. "I guess I don't understand family loyalty at all." She patted my arm, mistaking my calm for submission. "Don't worry, sweetie. You'll learn." Oh, I was about to learn, all right. And so were they. I pulled out my phone and snapped a picture of the ATV, complete with its shiny price tag still attached to the handlebar. Then I opened my banking app and took screenshots of the transfer from 6 months ago, the first pieces of evidence in what would become my carefully crafted revenge. "Coming in for dinner?" Mom called from the doorway. "I made your favorite." "No thanks," I replied, already walking to my car. "I have some research to do." "Research?" She frowned. About what?" I smiled, the same practiced smile she'd given me on my IKEA couch half a year ago. "Oh, just looking into some interesting things about consumer debt laws. Nothing for you to worry about." Not yet, anyway. The annual family BBQ was in full swing when I decided to ask about my money. In hindsight, maybe I should have picked a less public moment, but watching Mom show off her new designer sandals to the relatives while my bank account sat empty had pushed me over the edge. "Mom. Dad, can we talk about the loan repayment timeline?" I kept my voice low, cornering them by the fancy new grill that probably cost 2 months of my rent. Mom's smile froze. Dad suddenly became very interested in flipping burgers. "Sierra!" Mom hissed. "We have guests!" "I know. I also had savings." "Is she bringing up money again?" Bryce appeared with his fiancée, beer in hand. "Sis, you're becoming obsessed. It's kind of sad." My best friend Valerie touched my arm. "Maybe this isn't the best time," she whispered. "They're your parents. They'll sort it out." "Listen to Valerie," Mom said, her voice dripping honey. "She always gives such good advice, unlike some people who only think about themselves." I felt the familiar heat of shame creeping up my neck. Decades of conditioning kicked in, the urge to apologize, to back down, to be the good daughter they wanted. "Actually," I straightened my spine, "I think this is the perfect time. You had no problem taking my money in front of everyone. Why not discuss returning it?" Dad finally spoke. "Sierra, you're making a scene." "No, what's making a scene is Bryce's new ATV bought with my down payment." The circle of relatives grew quiet. Aunt Martha stopped mid-bite into her potato salad. Uncle George suddenly needed a beer refill. "Down payment?" Bryce laughed. "Come on, sis. You're not still hung up on that money you gave Mom and Dad. It was a gift to help with the house." "It was a loan," I said, with a promised 3-month repayment timeline. Mom's face hardened. "I can't believe you're doing this! After everything we've sacrificed for you!" "Sacrificed? You paid for his college while I'm still drowning in student loans." "Because he showed promise." The words exploded from Mom's mouth before she could catch them. The silence that followed was deafening. Valerie tugged at my sleeve. "Let's go get a drink. Cool off a bit." "Promise," I repeated softly. "Right. And what did I show?" Dad wouldn't meet my eyes. Bryce smirked behind his beer bottle. "I think," Mom said icily, "you're showing everyone exactly why we've had to be careful with our estate planning." The threat was clear. I looked around at the carefully manicured backyard, bought with my money. The new furniture gleaming through the patio doors, bought with my money. The ATV parked proudly in the driveway, bought with my money. You know what? You're right. I'm sorry for bringing this up at the BBQ. Enjoy your party. I walked away to scattered whispers and Mom's loud proclamation about ungrateful children these days. Valerie followed me inside. "They're still your parents," she said. "Maybe just let this one go?" I was about to respond when voices drifted from Dad's study. Mom, Dad, and Bryce, thinking everyone was still outside. "She's getting worse," Mom was saying. "More demanding. The money's gone anyway," Bryce replied. What's she going to do about it? Dad's laugh was uncomfortable. Well, she's not going to like the new will arrangement, that's for sure. It's for her own good, Mom said. She needs to learn about loyalty. Besides, everything will go to Bryce now. He knows how to handle money responsibly. Should we tell her? Dad asked. Let her figure it out herself, Bryce said. Maybe it'll teach her a lesson about family. I stood frozen in the hallway, Valerie's hand on my shoulder. The ice in my veins wasn't anger anymore. It was something colder, clearer. Sierra, Valerie started. Don't. I cut her off. Just don't. I walked out of that house with my head high, already pulling up my phone's browser. First search, how to legally document informal loans. Second search, impact of unpaid debt on credit scores. Mom's voice carried from the patio. Sierra, where are you going? Don't be dramatic. I didn't turn around. They wanted to teach me about loyalty? Fine. Class was about to begin. The coffee shop was nearly empty when Makey walked in. My ex looked exactly the same. Crisp suit, perfect fade, that smile that used to make my knees weak. Now he was just what I needed. A mortgage broker who owed me a favor. Sierra, he slid into the booth. Your text was cryptic. Need professional advice about destroying someone's credit? Should I be worried? I pushed a folder across the table. Remember how you always said I was too nice for my own good? I remember everything about you. He opened the folder, scanning the documents. Bank transfers, text messages. Wait, your parents took your house deposit? $50,000 for home improvements that turned into luxury purchases. His jaw tightened. Let me guess, they're not planning to pay you back? Worse, they're planning to cut me out of the will for asking about it. Damn. He leaned back, studying me. So, what's your play here? I pulled out my phone, showing him the text thread with Dad. Of course we'll pay you back, sweetheart. Just need a little more time. They've left a trail, I said. Oh, I just don't know how to use it. Makey's smile turned professional. You know I specialize in credit repair and mortgage applications, right? Exactly why I called you. He took out his laptop. Okay, here's what most people don't understand about credit reporting. Even informal loans can be documented as unsecured debt if you have the right paper trail. I'm listening. These texts promising repayment, they're essentially a contract. That casual IOU your dad wrote. Legal documentation. With the right filing, this becomes a legitimate debt obligation that shows up on credit reports. My heart raced. And if they're planning to refinance their house, any undisclosed debt could tank the application. He paused. Sierra, are you sure about this? It's pretty nuclear. I pulled up the voice recording from the BBQ. Bryce's mocking laugh filled the quiet cafe. The money's gone anyway. What's she going to do about it? Makey's expression hardened. I'll help you, but we need to do this right. No loose ends they can use against you. For the next hour, we built my case. Every promise of repayment, every admission of the loan, every piece of evidence carefully organized. Makey showed me how to file with credit bureaus, how to document the debt legally, how to make it impossible to ignore. Their refinancing application, I said. How long does processing usually take? 2 to 3 weeks. Why? I showed him Mom's latest social media post. So excited about our upcoming home refinance. Time to make our dream home even dreamier. Blessed. Perfect timing, Makey said. File the debt report now. It'll hit their credit check right when it matters most. Will they know it was me? They'll know, but they won't be able to do anything about it. Not legally, anyway. I submitted the paperwork that evening. Every click felt like another brick in the wall between my old life and whatever came next. 3 days later, my phone buzzed with a credit bureau notification. Debt successfully reported and verified. Account status: delinquent. I forwarded the confirmation to Meki. It's done, I texted. Thank you. Don't thank me yet, he replied. The real storm's coming. You ready? I looked around my apartment, at the cheap furniture I'd kept so I could save for a house, at the budget planner still marked with my down payment goals, at the family photo I'd finally turned face down. They wanted to teach me about money. I texted back, let's see who learns what. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not from guilt, but from anticipation. Mom's social media was full of renovation plans, designer purchases, country club photos. Dad's calendar showed their meeting with the refinancing officer next week. Bryce's Instagram featured his new ATV jumping hills on their perfectly landscaped property. My phone lit up with a text from Valerie. Your mom's worried about you. Says you're not returning calls. Maybe you should talk to them. I left it on read. Another notification popped up. Debt status update. Credit impact confirmed. I imagined the dominoes starting to fall. The loan officer pulling their credit report. The undisclosed debt appearing like a red flag. Their perfect financial facade beginning to crack. Sorry, Mom, I whispered to the darkness. Class is in session. My phone exploded at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. Mom's name flashed on the screen, followed immediately by Dad's, then Bryce's. 3 simultaneous meltdowns, right on schedule. I let them all go to voicemail. How dare you! Mom's voice crackled with rage in the first message. The refinancing officer just called. Do you have any idea what you've done? Dad's message was next. Sierra, this is completely unacceptable. Call us immediately to fix this mess. Bryce didn't leave a voicemail. He went straight to texts. You psycho, what is wrong with you? Mom and Dad are freaking out. Fix this or I swear you'll regret it. I screenshotted everything. Evidence was evidence, after all. The landline at work rang. Our receptionist poked her head in. Your mother's on line 1. She says it's an emergency. Tell her I'm in a meeting. 10 minutes later, my email pinged. Subject: Your childish behavior from Mom. Sierra, you need to call the credit bureau immediately and retract this ridiculous debt claim. Your father and I are beyond disappointed. The refinancing officer says our application is suspended pending investigation. This petty behavior is exactly why we've had to make difficult decisions about your future inheritance. Call us now. I forwarded it to my personal email. More evidence. My cell buzzed again. Valerie this time. Your mom just called me crying, she said when I picked up. Something about you ruining their refinancing. Did she mention ruining my savings? Sierra, they're your parents. They said they were going to pay you back eventually. Eventually doesn't pay my rent, Val. But their house is fine. They just can't take out more equity to buy more toys. Silence on the line. Then, Bryce says they needed that money for property taxes. I sat up straighter. What? They're behind on payments. The refinance was supposed to cover it. Didn't you know? I hung up and pulled up the county tax assessor's website. 3 minutes of searching revealed what they'd been hiding. $47,000 in delinquent property taxes. 2 years' worth. My phone rang again. Dad. What? I answered. Princess. His voice was tight, controlled. We need to discuss this like adults. Okay, let's discuss the property taxes you haven't paid. A sharp intake of breath. Who told you about that? Does it matter? Were you planning to use my money for that too? Your mother and I had a plan. To avoid foreclosure using my down payment? Don't be dramatic, he snapped. We just needed to restructure some things. With my money, without telling me. We're your parents. And I'm your personal bank, apparently. The line crackled with his heavy breathing. If you don't fix this credit report situation immediately, you'll leave us no choice. About what? Cutting me out of the will? Already heard that plan at the BBQ. You were eavesdropping. His voice rose an octave. Guess I learned something about loyalty after all. I hung up as Mom's number flashed again. This time I let it ring while pulling up my email. The refinancing officer's contact information was publicly listed on their company website. Dear Mr. Taylor, I typed. Regarding the Ellis refinancing application, I have additional documentation about undisclosed debts you may want to review. My phone buzzed with texts from Bryce. Mom's having a breakdown. Dad's talking about selling the boat. This is all your fault. You better pray I never see you again. I screenshotted those too, then opened my banking app. My account balance still showed the same painful number, 820,43. All that remained of my savings. The landline rang again. Your father's here, our receptionist said nervously. In the lobby. Tell him I've left for the day. I grabbed my purse and took the back stairs, but not before sending one final email, to myself, with all the threatening texts and voicemails attached. Subject: documentation of harassment following legal debt reporting. My phone pinged with a notification from the county tax assessor's website. Property alert, pre-foreclosure notice filed. I thought I'd feel satisfaction. Instead, I felt empty. Clean, like lancing a wound that had been festering for years. Mom's final voicemail of the day came at 11:47 p.m. Sierra, please, we're your family. We raised you. We loved you. How could you do this to us? What kind of daughter? I deleted it before she could finish. They'd raised me, all right. Raised me to understand exactly what family loyalty meant to them. And now they were learning what it meant to me. Your aunt, Adeline, wants to meet you. I nearly dropped my phone. Valerie's message hung there, impossible and unexpected. I don't have an aunt, Adeline, I typed back. Your dad's sister. She reached out to me on Facebook. The aunt no one talked about. The family ghost who'd vanished 20 years ago after what Mom always called her episode. Why you? I asked. She's been following everything online, saw my comments on your Mom's posts, says she needs to talk to you. It's important. 2 hours later, I sat in a quiet cafe, watching a slim woman with Dad's eyes approach my table. She looked nothing like the unstable troublemaker Mom had described all these years. Sierra, she said softly, you look just like your grandmother. The one who left Dad and you her house. The inheritance Mom says you tried to steal. Adeline's smile was sad. Is that what they told you? She pulled out a manila envelope, weathered and stuffed with papers. 23 years ago, your grandmother left the house to both of us, your father and me. Equal shares. She spread out old documents across the table. Your mother convinced your father I was unstable, untrustworthy. They needed my half for their lifestyle, she said. Just temporarily. My hands started shaking. How much? 200,000. My entire inheritance. She pulled out a faded IOU with Dad's signature. They promised to pay me back in 6 months. Let me guess, the money disappeared? Into renovations, luxury cars, country club memberships. Her voice was steady, but her fingers trembled. When I demanded repayment, your mother told everyone I was having a mental breakdown, that I was jealous of their success. Sound familiar? I showed her the screenshots on my phone, the texts, the voicemails, the accusations of betrayal. They haven't changed a bit, she whispered. Did you ever get your money back? No, but I kept everything. She patted the envelope. Every promise, every threat, every lie. I knew someday someone would need to know the truth. Why didn't you fight harder? I did. They threatened to have me committed. Your mother had friends in the mental health field. Back then, it was easier to discredit hysterical women. She leaned forward. But you're smarter than I was. You've got proof. And times have changed. I stared at the family photo on my phone's lock screen. Did they ever feel guilty? I found this in your father's study before they changed the locks. She pulled out a torn letter, dated 1999. I wrote it, begging to stay in touch with him. With you. Your mother must have intercepted it. The letter was heartbreaking. Pages of a sister reaching out to her brother, an aunt wanting to know her niece, all destroyed by greed and manipulation. Why tell me now? Because history's repeating itself. And because I want you to know you're not crazy. You're not wrong. And you're not alone. My phone buzzed. Mom again. Your father's blood pressure is through the roof because of you. I hope you're happy destroying this family. I showed Adeline the message. Ah, yes. She smiled grimly. Your father's convenient health crisis. That was their favorite weapon against me, too. Did you ever regret walking away? I regret not fighting smarter. Not documenting everything like you did. She touched my hand. But I never regretted standing up for myself, even if it cost me my family. They're not just taking my money now, I said. They're taking my whole future, the will, the inheritance. Oh, sweetie. She laughed softly. Do you really think there's anything left to inherit? They've been living on borrowed money and refinancing for decades. That house probably has less equity than your stolen down payment. My phone lit up with another text, this time from Bryce. Hope you're proud of yourself. Dad's talking about bankruptcy because of you. Adeline read it over my shoulder. Your brother, the golden child, just like your father was to our parents. Did Dad ever realize what they did to you? He chose not to. It was easier to believe I was crazy than face his own complicity. She gathered her documents. Keep these copies. You might need them. For what? For when they try to rewrite this story. Trust me, they will. She stood up, straightening her jacket. And Sierra? Don't let them make you disappear like they did to me. I watched her walk away, then looked down at the pile of evidence she'd left. 20 years of family history, of patterns repeating, of money taken, and trust betrayed. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Dad. Your mother's crying herself to sleep every night. I hope you can live with yourself. I thought of Adeline, surviving 2 decades of being the family villain. I can. I typed back. Can you? The pounding on my apartment door started at 6 a.m. I knew it was Dad before I even checked the peephole. Mom would have rung the bell repeatedly instead. Sierra, open this door, right now. I pressed record on my phone before turning the lock. Dad burst in, still in his running clothes, face red. You have to fix this, he said. pacing my small living room. The bank is threatening foreclosure. That's what happens when you don't pay property taxes. Don't get smart with me. We're your parents. You can't do this to us. Like you couldn't steal my savings. He stopped pacing. We didn't steal anything. We borrowed for house repairs that turned into luxury purchases and Bryce's toys. Your brother needed... What about what I needed? My voice cracked. What about my future? Your future? He laughed bitterly. You just destroyed your future. No inheritance, no family support, nothing. There's nothing left to inherit anyway, is there, Dad? Adeline told me everything. The color drained from his face. You spoke to your aunt? The sister you helped Mom destroy? Yeah, we had a fascinating chat about family history. She was unstable. She kept receipts, just like I did. His expression shifted from anger to something else. Fear, Princess. He tried a different approach. We can work this out. Just call off the debt report. Let us do the refinancing. We'll figure out a payment plan. Like you did with Adeline. That was different. Was it? Or is this just what you and Mom do? Take what you want and destroy anyone who objects. My phone buzzed. Bryce. My lawyer says we can sue you for harassment. Last chance. I showed Dad the message. Cute. Did you know threatening legal action over a legitimate debt report is actually harassment itself? He's just upset. I've documented everything, Dad. Every threat, every manipulation, every lie. Another buzz. Valerie this time. This has gone too far. You need to stop before you really hurt them. I frowned at the message. Something felt off about her sudden concern. Your mother's devastated, Dad continued. She can barely get out of bed. Really? Because her Instagram shows her at the country club 2 hours ago. He deflated slightly. We can't lose this house, Sierra. Please. Like Adeline couldn't lose her inheritance? Stop bringing her up! He slammed his hand on my coffee table. She's not family anymore. No, I said quietly. You and Mom made sure of that. My phone kept buzzing. More texts from Valerie. They're really suffering. Think about what you're doing. Bryce says you're breaking their hearts. Wait, Bryce says? I pulled up an old group chat I'd muted months ago. There it was, Valerie and Bryce, dozens of messages. Her feeding him information about my plans, my movements, my conversations. Get out, I told Dad. Sierra, get out, and tell Bryce his spy network needs work. Dad's face gave it away. He knew about Valerie's betrayal. We were trying to protect you from yourself, he said weakly. No, you were protecting yourselves from consequences. After he left, I sent one text to Valerie. Hope the family that isn't yours was worth losing the friend that was. Then I blocked her. And Bryce. And my parents. My hands shook as I opened my laptop and pulled up the debt validation documents I'd been preparing. One click would send them to the family's new mortgage broker, making the debt official and public. My phone rang one last time, Mom calling from a different number. Weren't we your parents first? She pleaded when I answered. Funny, I replied. That's exactly what you said to Adeline. I hung up and hit send on the documents. Minutes later, an auto reply confirmed receipt. Debt validation documentation, received and filed. I thought of Adeline, vanishing from family photos and stories. Of Valerie, choosing the illusion of belonging over loyalty. Of my parents, building their life on stolen futures. Opening my banking app, I created a new savings account. Starting balance, $820,048. Not much, but it was mine. No strings, no guilt, no manipulation. My phone lit up with one final text from an unknown number, Bryce using a burner. "You'll regret this for the rest of your life." I thought about the foreclosure notice, the debt report, the exposed lies, about 20 years of Adelaine's erased existence, and my own vanishing inheritance. "No," I whispered to my empty apartment. "I really won't." The foreclosure notice went public on a Thursday. By Friday morning, my parents' carefully curated social circle was imploding. "Did you see?" Adeline texted, sending a screenshot of Mom's country club gossip group. "They're scrambling to explain." The comments were brutal. "But they just bought that new ATV." Weren't they renovating again? "Someone said their daughter sued them?" Mom's response was predictably dramatic. "Our ungrateful daughter has turned against us. Please respect our privacy during this difficult time." The karma was almost poetic. Bryce tried getting a private loan to save the house. His credit application was denied. Turns out, his perfect financial status was as much of a mirage as our parents' was. "You've ruined everything," he texted. "They're talking about selling Mum's jewelry." I forwarded his message to my lawyer. Yes, I had one now. Every threat, every accusation became another piece of evidence. The small claims court summons arrived at their house the next day. I'd filed for the full $50,000, plus interest and legal fees. Mom called immediately. "You're suing us? Your own parents?" "Just formalizing the debt you promised to pay." "We raised you, and now you can pay me back." She switched tactics. "What about your father's health? His blood pressure is perfectly fine according to his last Facebook check-in at the golf course." Silence. Then, "You've changed." "Yes," I agreed. "I have." The court date was set for next month, but they never made it that far. Their financial advisor, the same Mr. Taylor who'd handled their failed refinancing, finally saw the whole picture. "Mrs. Ellis," I overheard him say during their meeting at the bank, "you'll need to liquidate your retirement account to cover these obligations." Mom's wail could be heard through the glass walls. "But that's our safety net!" "You should have thought about that before spending your daughter's money," he replied coldly. They transferred the full amount the next day. $50,000 back in my account, the same account they'd drained 6 months ago. I stared at the balance for a long time. Then I made another transfer. "What's this?" the women's shelter director asked when I dropped off the cashier's check. $50,000? Anonymous? "For your financial abuse support program," I said. "From someone who understands." That evening, Adeline called. "Have you seen my blog?" She'd started writing about financial abuse within families. Her first post, titled "The Inheritance They Stole," had gone viral. "The comments," she said. "So many people sharing similar stories. Your parents aren't unique, Sierra. They're just finally facing consequences." My phone buzzed with an email notification. The family lawyer. "Dear Ms. Ellis, per your parents' request, we're updating their will. As previously discussed, you have been removed as a beneficiary. All assets will transfer to your brother upon their passing." I forwarded it to Adeline. "Assets," she texted back with a laughing emoji. "What assets?" I spent that night updating my own will. Everything I had, which wasn't much, but was mine, would go to the women's shelter. No family strings attached. The next morning, a certified letter arrived from Bryce's lawyer, threatening to sue me for emotional distress. I sent back one response. Please reference the documented debt validation and court records. Any further harassment will be met with legal action. He didn't reply. Mom made one final attempt at manipulation. She posted a long Facebook message about toxic children and parental sacrifice, tagging every relative and friend she could think of. The comments weren't what she expected. Didn't you take her house deposit? Why aren't you paying her back? My daughter showed me the court documents. She deleted the post within hours. That night, Adeline sent me another text. Check your email. It was an old photo from 1999. Dad and Adeline as kids, laughing on a swing set. On the back, a faded note. Remember when family meant something real? Found it in my old files, Adeline wrote. Thought you should have it. I studied the image of my father's younger self, wondering when he'd decided that money meant more than memories. My phone lit up one last time. A voicemail from Mom. I hope you're satisfied. Our friends are abandoning us. The country club is reviewing our membership. Even your father's golf partners are asking questions. You've destroyed our reputation. I hope you can live with that. I thought about the women's shelter, about Adeline's blog readers, about every child who'd had their future stolen by the people who should have protected it. Yes, I whispered to the empty room. I can live with that just fine. I blocked their number and opened my laptop to read Adeline's latest blog post. Breaking Free: How to Reclaim Your Future from Toxic Family Finance. The comment section was already filling up with stories that sounded just like mine. The keys to my new condo felt heavy in my hand, not because of their weight, but because of what they represented. Freedom bought with the remains of my recovered savings. It wasn't much, a one-bedroom unit in an older building, nothing like the house I'd originally dreamed of. But every square inch was mine, paid for with clean money and clear conscience. You sure about this place? Adeline asked, helping me carry in boxes. It's smaller than your apartment. It's perfect, I said. No debt, no obligations, no strings. My phone buzzed. Another blocked number. They'd been trying different ones all week. Sierra, please. Mom's voice cracked through the speaker. The foreclosure is final. We're moving into a rental. Your brother won't even talk to us anymore. How could you do this to your family? I let the voicemail play on speaker while unpacking kitchen boxes. We're having to sell everything, she continued. The country club dropped our membership. Your father's friends. No one understands. We're your parents. We gave you life. Delete. She still doesn't get it, does she? Adeline shook her head. Neither does Bryce. I showed her his latest email, forwarded from my lawyer. He's demanding I make this right before their reputation is completely ruined. Because heaven forbid they face consequences. My laptop pinged with a notification. Another comment on Adeline's blog. Reading this story gave me courage. Today, I finally confronted my parents about the college fund they borrowed. Thank you for showing me I'm not alone. You're making a difference, I told Adeline. We both are. She smiled, then frowned at her phone. Your mum's trying to contact me now. Says she wants to heal the family wounds. Right after they lost everything? How convenient. Should I respond? Would it change anything? She put the phone away. No, some wounds aren't meant to heal. They're meant to teach us where not to walk again. The doorbell rang. A delivery man held out a package. Sign here? Inside was a frame. The swing-set photo of Dad and Adeline, professionally restored. A note fell out. For your new home. Remember, Family is what we choose it to be. Adam. I hung it in my living room, right where the old family photos used to be. My phone lit up again. A text from Valerie. I miss you. Can we talk? Delete. Another notification from Adeline's blog. A new post. Financial abuse breaking the family cycle. The comment section was already filling up with stories, support, resources. The women's shelter called? I told Adeline. That anonymous donation! They're using it to start a legal fund for others like us. Good. Let something better grow from all this. My phone buzzed one final time. A voicemail from Dad. Princess, I found Adeline's blog. Read about what we did to her, what we did to you. I don't know how to fix this, but I understand now. Too late, but I understand. I saved that one. Not for forgiveness. That wasn't coming. Not for reconciliation. Some bridges need to stay burned. But as a reminder that truth eventually surfaces, no matter how deep you bury it. Adeline touched the swing set photo. You know what Mom used to say? Money is thicker than water. Guess she was right. Just not the way she meant it. We finished unpacking as the sun set, casting long shadows through my new windows. My small, paid-for windows. My debt-free, drama-free space. My phone had one last surprise. An email from Mr. Taylor, their former financial advisor. Ms. Ellis, your story inspired me to start a workshop series on family financial abuse. Would you consider being a guest speaker? People need to hear this. Best regards. I showed it to Adeline. What do you think? I think, she said, that the best revenge isn't just surviving. It's helping others survive too. I looked around my modest condo, at the swing set photo, at the empty spaces where guilt used to live, at all the room I now had to grow something new. You know what? I replied to Mr. Taylor's email. I would love to speak at your workshop. Then I turned off my phone, poured 2 glasses of wine, and sat with my aunt in my small, perfect home. To clean starts. Adeline raised her glass. To chosen family, I answered. Outside, the sun finished setting on my old life, but inside, in this space, bought with hard lessons and harder boundaries, something better was finally beginning to rise.